Thanks you guys for being here tonight. Sorry I'm early. So in the last few months, when Dave and I discussed how he would want to be honored should he pass, he said he wanted a room full of people who meant the most to him, coming together for a fun evening of drinks, laughs, toasts, and even roasts. And this is exactly what he wanted. A few months back, I wrote a letter to David, and it focused on David's qualities that I thought our kids should associate with their dad. And I want to share that with you guys tonight. Dear David, the last few months have been trying. To watch this insidious disease take away your mobility and your physical capabilities has been nothing short of gut-wrenching. While you are every bit of the man that you have always been, I see that you are trapped in a body that you no longer own. You have fought like a warrior these past 2 years. Your optimism and ability to attack each and every day and positive attitude has been inspiring to us all, although I never doubted that you were going to fight this thing tooth and nail. From the moment we met on the first day of business school 15 years ago, we have not looked back. Obviously, the attraction was immediate and has remained so strong all of these years. We built a great partnership based on so much love and respect, and while we thoroughly enjoyed our time together as a couple, our lives exploded with happiness as we welcomed our 3 crazy kids. We became what a team extreme, as we like to call it, and I know that raising our family together is what we cherish most in life. We've had so many great talks over the years about what we wanted in our lives, both as individuals, together as a couple, and most importantly, what kind of parents we wanted to be. These talks were so fluid and typically occurred on a beach on one of our island getaways that were so sacred to us. Since your diagnosis, it's been harder to have these conversations because while they once felt so light and inspirational, they now feel like a stark reminder that we might have limited time together. So instead, I thought I'd share with you some key messages that I hope the kids can take away from their dad. Number 1, have great passions. I thought I had passions until I met you. Your love for Michigan football and the Cleveland Indians is infectious. When I met you, the Indians had finished 4th in the AL Central and have since made their way to the World Series. Similarly, to live through the Rich Rod and Brady Hoke years as he pined for Jim Harbaugh from afar, and to see his hiring to come to fruition has been awesome. Never one to jump on a bandwagon, you have always been fiercely supportive of your teams, and your knowledge of players and stats runs so deep. I hope to teach the kids to pursue their passions with reckless abandon, that it is okay to yell at the TV screen if you don't make a play, like you always say, or to drive all night to see your favorite team or band play, because those are the memories that will last a lifetime. Number 2, love your work and the people you work with. I know how much you love your job and how proud you've been of the work that you've done with Dave and the successful launch of Melvin. However, I know what you're most proud of was to be a part of a team that worked harder than everybody else, and is made up of individuals who are more phenomenal people than they even are investors. Our children will know that the monetary success was secondary to you, and your happiness was gained from working hard and doing it with people that you love and respect. Number 3, live frugally and don't spend money just because you have it. There's something to be said for Midwestern values, right? Strong work ethic, integrity, and humility. You embody these attributes to a T. The kids and I are so appreciative of all that you've done for us and the fact that you've always made such sound financial choices, which has meant that we don't have to change our lives as a result of this tragedy. Our kids have been exposed to great opportunities. However, I know you're a fanatic in your desire to raise down-to-earth, unspoiled kids who will need to work hard for this. I will do everything in my capabilities to ensure that these values continue to be instilled in them. Number 4, value great friends and family. I've always believed that the company one keeps says a lot about a person. I know that you've heard me tell you many times that you have amazing friends. Most of these friendships go back over 20 years, with your closest friends dating back to grade school. One silver lining that's come from the past 2 years is you have received some phenomenal emails from people telling you what you mean to them. You've also had some great trips and moments shared with people that may not have otherwise occurred if you thought you had 50 more years together. Similarly, I have told you that I've hit the jackpot when I married into your family. This is so true. So many wonderful things can be said about your parents and your brothers. Tragedies like this can tear
tear families apart, or they can bring people closer together.
Your illness has undoubtedly unified everybody, and I'm so proud of the closeness that I maintain with your family. Not once has anybody gotten petty or nasty when you've all been able to stay singularly focused on what is most important, which is your health and happiness. Your family represents you on so many levels, and they will continue to be a constant presence and play an integral role in the kids' lives forever. Number 5, be confident, stick up for your beliefs, and don't give a damn what others think. You have always stayed true to yourself, your beliefs, and have gone after what you wanted, but have never treated people poorly along the way. You are and always have been your own person. You get down and dirty in the dance floor, you became a lead singer of a band, and you have absolutely no filter most of the time in what you say. You are a force of nature. I spent our early years together wondering if you were going to ruffle feathers or be too much for people, but it never happened. I learned it was because you backed it up with substance. You are wickedly smart, wildly opinionated, and have more integrity than anybody I know. Our kids will know that their dad earned the respect of others without ever seeking it. They will know their dad is a leader, not because he was the loudest person in the workroom, which he often was, but because he led by example. 6, pick a great partner. Well, it might have seemed like forever for you to tell me that you love me for the first time. It seemed like an equally long time to propose. I came to realize it was because you took me and the relationship so seriously. You weren't going to make any flippant romantic decisions, and you weren't going to settle. However, once you did commit, you gave me everything that you had. Your love is pure, unwavering, and consistent. You are fiercely loyal, trustworthy, and you make me feel safe. I want our children to know what an unbelievable love and partnership that their parents had. We packed a ton of fun and so much mutual respect into the last 15 years, and I only hope that our kids will be able to find partners that make them happy, see me, all foods. Thanks.
David and I met almost 20 years ago in this very city on a blind date of sorts in some swanky bar in Engineer Driving for our mutual friends here tonight. We figured out that we both be working with David and Charles and Paul in the coming months. David was definitely the this guy and later admitted this. But within a couple of cocktails, mutual respect was born, and we quickly figured out that each loved sports almost more than anything at that time, and the combination in finance. And thus a lifelong friendship was born in the spring of 1998. It was easy to see that David had a bright future in the hedge fund world. While sharing office with J.W. Childs, David was effectively running a hedge fund, trading in and out of internet names as the bubble formed, including a tried and true strategy, this is true, of determining what CEO was going to appear on the CNBC Business Lunch segment and getting along ahead of the show. An entree of the entire Koch plan was soon to follow, first with Donald in Boston, then Brad in San Francisco, and then Bob in New York, clearly the smartest of the Koch brothers in his alma mater. Finally, after moving to Chicago in 2005, Lindsay and I were invited to the most high-oil Michigan tailgate ever, hosted by Bonnie and Alan. There are so many memories that I'd like to share, but in the interest of time, I chose 4 words that I felt would give you a sense of what David has meant to me. And those are family, friendship, competitive, and golf. Family was something that was incredibly important from the day I met David. And as I said, I was gradually able to meet the entire Koch clan within 5 or so years of being him. I always took note of how he treated his brothers and hope my own 2 sons will enjoy a similar relationship. David had respect and love for Brad, his big brother, always telling me Brad was a better golfer among other accolades, and a protected and loving relationship with Donald and Bob, his twin younger brothers, though he had no issues at all taking their money if he won any kind of bet. When Lindsay and I traveled to Michigan for the tailgate, which had any era for football fans, we met Bonnie and Alan, the home where David grew up, and discovered the last piece in the mosaic that was Koch at that point in his life. I was also lucky enough to meet Keith early on in their courtship at Columbia Business School and closely witness the growth of David's own family, always knowing the pride he had in Ethan this unfair illness. I was afforded the opportunity to know his amazing family much better, and will always hold dear memories of XBK throwing his left-handed feet at me for 6 feet away in the playroom, QKK walking around the house almost exclusively in only his underwear, and HBK using his significant powers of persuasion to get out of eating her dinner over and over again. Friends. Dave and I became good friends immediately, but as I became familiar with the broader context of David's family, I was always grateful for the time he made for me. In fact, David was the closest thing I had to the brother that I always wanted, and he was always the first to get on the plane and be there, whether it was golf tournaments or some other event. After his diagnosis, it was my turn to get on the plane and be there for him. But David was always selfless, and I recall one conversation that embodies this. Shortly after recovering from his first surgery, I visited David in Darien. On the next day, he and I trained to the city, and they were on their way to the doctor, and I checked into my hotel. And as we parted ways at 51st and Park, and when I explained to David that I was going to be back in a few weeks to see him, he sternly turned and told me, "Don't twist your busy schedule, relax, man. I'm not dying." That was David, not wanting to impede my schedule despite his fight against insidious disease. So everyone who knows David recognizes competitive intensity from the moment they met him. Whether it was his unwillingness to even set foot in Yankee Stadium despite being given tickets to see his Indians play there, his fanatic Michigan fanship, or his determination to beat Heath in tennis, David was unwavering in his resolve. But where I personally might have seen the greatest competitive spirit was David's prowess in fantasy football. For many years, beginning in 1998, I played in a league with David as an opponent for one day after we had both retired from fantasy to a legendary league with more mature lives. We were given an opportunity to team up and join a long tenured competitive league where we were only one person. We each said we would not do it without the other unless we formed a legendary team David named There Will Be Blood. TWBB, making the league cold, and proceeded over the next 3 years to revolutionize everyone's thinking on how to build a winner, winning titles in years 2 and 3 and then retiring for good. If you look closely at the picture board in this room, you'll find one of David actually licking the trophy at the annual League Brewers Lunch, a trophy that is now named after David, I'm told. I saved golf for last, as it will always encapsulate my most fond memories of David. David is the reason I even took up the game and the reason I love it as much as I do. Early on, we played with Donald and Cape Cod, and Brad and Donald in San Francisco, where for some reason Donald and I were always paired as a team. Brad and David insisted Donald play the 70 decks despite him not having played for probably 5 years. I stunk per usual, while Donald was sent to lose about every other tee shot. Needless to say, we were trounced every time, while David and Brad showed absolutely no mercy. I always told David that I couldn't wait to team up with him someday, and when I moved to Chicago in 2005, I joined a golf club mostly so I could just invite David to the guests. And to no surprise, David hopped on a plane every July and carried me around on his back for 45 holes of competitive golf. We had a lot of fun, but there was no doubt that we both wanted badly to win. And despite how poorly I would usually play, David always took responsibility for our failures, insisting the burden was on him, the low index to carry us. David, you were a brother to me, and despite us living in separate cities for most of the past 20 years, I could always feel your presence in my life. And each time I watched the Indians, whom I adopted anyway on my teams thanks to you, even though you never felt any allegiance to the Yankees, each time I tee up a golf ball, each time I see Michigan cross the ticker at the bottom of the TV screen, or read about Harbaugh's basic antics, every time I see an interesting high-level information, basically every day where I'll have something I want to share with you, I will remember vividly and be thankful for the time we had together. I love you, DSCF. The next speaker is going to be David's father, Al. Bloomberg terminal. And as best I can tell, I did nothing all day but use Bloomberg for sports. I remember leaving it thinking, oh, John Childs knows he's paying these guys. Anyway. Bonnie and I were blessed to have 4 wonderful sons. And being part of their lives, growing up and watching them become successful adults has always been the focus of our lives. We've always put family first. It's the most important thing to Bonnie and me. So it has been doubly hard for us to watch David, who was in the prime of his life, become ill with glioblastoma. Losing him leaves a hole in our hearts that will never be. We miss him every day, and we'll always think of him many times during each day. When David was diagnosed with brain cancer, his 3 brothers immediately circled him in need with love and support that never ended. There wasn't ever an appointment at Duke or a Dana-Farber in Boston, but at least one brother, and usually all 3 would take them. They traveled with him from Connecticut, gave him emotional support, provided physical assistance when needed, and importantly, gave David additional sets of ears to help evaluate the medical findings and recommendations. Her support was vital to Heath, who, in addition to caring for David, had 3 little kids that obviously needed constant care and attention. The outpouring of love and support from Brad, Donald, and Bob were awe-inspiring to Bonnie and me. It helped us to deal with David's illness. Bonnie and I never gave up hope that one of the clinical trials would be successful. It wasn't to be. David was a wonderful person, son, and father. We'll never forget him, and we'll always love him. We're thankful for the time that we had together, but we must now look to the future. We're blessed that David had 3 beautiful children together with Heath. Now we have Heath, who is a sensation father-in-law, and Xavier, Quentin, and Hollis in our family forever. So David's legacy will live on in our hearts, and his family will always be an important part of our family. Finally, Bonnie and I want to thank each of you for coming today to pay tribute to David. It means a great deal to us, and we're humbled by your presence today.
The next speak is David's brother Donald and nephew Ethan. Donald first, okay. Donald Tosh.
Thank you, Matt. And just to echo my dad, thank you all for coming to celebrate David tonight. You know, I look around this room and I see the real true essence of David and all the people that are here. David was much more than just an older brother to me. He was my lifelong mentor and guiding light, my biggest champion, and my best friend. Growing up, I followed David around for as long as he would let me. We played all kinds of sports and games together, many of which David had come up with by himself. Among my favorite memories is running around his bedroom shooting baskets in a 3-point competition with a foam Nerf ball. Not only had David somehow managed to come up with the 5 necessary shooting stations, but he had also gone out and purchased the theme song to Miami Vice to play as our 60-second shot clock the way that the NBA did in their original version of the event. he also looked after me growing up. My family went down to Florida for spring break every year. And on one trip when I was 10 or 11, David and I went on a bike ride up to the general store and decided to bike back on the beach for a change of pace. As we got out in the sand, David quickly created a little game for himself where he was weaving in and out of the shells on the beach like they were some slalom course. And seeing him do that, I actually thought it was an awesome idea, and I started to do it too. Except I was a lot smaller and a lot less skilled than he was. And so pretty soon after I started, I hit one of the shells and flew first into and then over the handlebars onto the ground. And as I lay there, doubled over in pain on the ground, David came running back, and once he figured out what had happened, he asked me a really strange question. He said, "Who do you have a crush on right now?" And I was in too much pain to ask him what the relevance of that was. And so in between sobs, I grunted out, "Danielle Aubrey." And he goes, "Okay, I'm going to go get Dad. You stay here and just think about making out with Danielle and Joy." What I probably valued most about my relationship with David was the unending care and interest that he took in my life. After college, I followed David's career path first onto Wall Street and then to an investment job out in San Francisco where he was also working at the time. After doing that for a few years, I hopped off that path and went and volunteered in Africa. As I stood on the precipice of my first real foray onto a path all my own, David gave me nothing but enthusiastic support and helped to build up my confidence by repeatedly telling me and all of his friends that I was going to Mozambique to establish and implement the Donald Plan, which was named in honor of the Marshall Plan that rebuilt Western Europe after the war. Years later, as my wife and I struggled to start a family, suffering what were the first real tragedies of my life, David was with me every step of the way, calling and texting for updates after every appointment. He never shied away from the bad news and always knew what to say or not to say in a difficult situation. At one particularly tough moment, he simultaneously comforted me and steeled my resolve to keep trying by telling me, "One day this is all going to work out, and when it does, you're going to have the most loved kid in the world." And he was right. It did work out. And 2 years later, when my oldest child was born, David was right there again to share in and magnify the joy. Just a week after we got back from the hospital, despite having 3 young kids of their own at home, David and Keith managed to be the first out-of-towners to come and meet Sydney. And David's excitement for me, for my wife, and for his new niece was impossible not to see and feel. Since David passed away, several of you have told me how you see a lot of him in me. And that is by far the greatest compliment that I have ever been paid. I have looked up to and tried to emulate David for all of my 40 years. And following in his footsteps has been and will continue to be the greatest honor of my life. David was bright, charismatic, and caring. He was the best damn brother a guy could ask for, and now he belongs to the ages. Thank you very much.
So to start off, I'm going to share a quote that I found. I'll leave this one from the family tree. But I
celebrate the life of Uncle David. We all knew him in a different way. Some of us co-workers, some friends, some family. However, we all knew him as the fun, loving, and amazing person he was. He was always a hard worker and would always radiate positivity. He's also a bit of a troublemaker, always willing to be involved in a little bit of mischief. He had so many people who loved and cared for him because all of you are here. But to me, Uncle David was always the source of support. Because even when I hadn't believed it myself, he was always there reassuring me that I was an amazing, intelligent young man. The last time I saw him, he told me that I had to believe in myself and to always keep fighting no matter what happens. I will carry that message with me forever. Always as a reminder to keep going, to keep pushing forward. Thank you.
The next to speak is Dave Plotkin, who is David's boss and working friend.
Just to start, this week was all amazing. Got to feel how well known David was, which was not a surprise at all. My name is Dave Plotkin. I first met David at City Capital in 2008, and he joined my team in 2010. In 2014, we left to start my own capital where David was a partner. To put it simply, David was more than a partner now. He was a great friend. It's rare to find someone that is so talented, yet so humble. David had an amazing attitude towards life, one that became even more apparent and inspiring during his 2+ years of battle breast cancer. Shortly after hiring David in 2010, my wife gave birth to our oldest son, in the first year of our with a host of sleep problems. When I mentioned to David our challenging nights, he plowed head first in putting together a lengthy document detailing and array strategies to deploy and resourceful books on the subject. Despite at the time barely knowing my wife, he reached out to her and had a long conversation to lend an empathetic ear, much better than me. It was then that I realized that David was a special person and a devoted father. In addition to being an experienced sleep consultant, David had many other talents that shined through. I recall in September of 2014, I had the entire Melbourne crew out to the Hamptons for some bonding activities prior to launch. We grouped off into teams and set up a variety of athletic competitions. We were throwing a junior football from one side of my lawn to the other, with our hedges about 60 yards away. I went before David and was feeling pretty pumped about a throw that dropped just in front of the hedges to take over first place. Unbeknownst to us all, he had an absolute cannon of his own. David stepped up and uncorked a rocket that literally went through the hedges and landed in the driveway on the other side. Game over. It was classic David, humble, talented, and super competitive. David wasn't just good at throwing footballs. He was renowned for his fantasy football drafting ability. David was my go-to for every draft, despite actually having a friend that worked in the industry for Yahoo Sports covering fantasy football. But it wasn't just me. He was the draft leader for many that respected his detailed approach. Of course, after working with David for years, I was very aware of this approach. David was a talented investor with an unbelievable drive to constantly improve. This drive and competitive spirit eventually led him to becoming a founding partner at Melbourne Capital. He set a great example for younger guys to follow and was very highly regarded in the investment industry. While I was aware of David's investment abilities, I actually found out about another of David's surprise talents in October of 2015, just days prior to his life-altering MRI. David, Heath, and the kids had recently moved into the new home in Darien and celebrated by throwing a big party. David always lived life to the fullest, and this party was no exception. They had a great band, delicious food and drinks, and plenty of fun games. The best part of the night, though, was listening to David sing Lay by Matt Davis as the band played in the background. In typical humility, David never let on about his musical abilities. He was a true lover of music. The gang in Melbourne had no clue he was also a super talented musician. As David mentioned in the blog post, one of his favorite songs, ironically, was Novocaine by Green Day. The most prophetic verse goes, "Take away the sensation inside, bittersweet migraine in my head. It's like a throbbing toothache up the lines. I can't take this feeling anymore." Despite this throbbing toothache, David never complained about the cartoons dealt, the side effects from all his medications, and the general loss of feeling on the left side of his body. He attacked this disease with the same enthusiasm and analytical rigor that I came to see every day at Sigma and NML and Capital. As he said best in his email informing others of this disease, with your initial research now nearly complete, I am in full attack mode. To borrow from Colonel Nathan Jessup, this disease has effed with the wrong Marine. If there was a record for years of progression-free survival following the initial diagnosis, you can bet that I'll bound breaking it. And he wasn't kidding. It was awe-inspiring to witness his attitude. Frequently at first, and less so over time, he would come into the office. Our team is typically laser-focused during market hours, but when David visited, everyone would jam into his office for an update from our good friends. In all those conversations detailing his daily battle, I don't recall him once complaining. Rather, I recall a dogged determination to beat this disease by researching every possible treatment that existed. David's optimism was very much on display when I went to visit him in late September of 2017. At that point, it was quite clear from his doctors that his outlook was increasingly dire. Yet, after spending several hours with him, I rode back to Manhattan thinking he had a real shot to win. He laid out his argument, and it was pretty believable. He was not going to quit. There was too much at stake for this loving, caring, and devoted husband and father. In his own words, by far the most important silver lining is that it's up to me to tackle this, and not my wife or children. In an email that University of Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh sent to David, he encouraged him to attack each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. I am sure David made Coach Harbaugh proud. I am certainly proud to have worked with David and to have developed a great friendship. He lived life to the fullest and carried himself with tremendous grace. He will be sorely missed. He was an incredible guy and will forever be an inspiration